Hi, my name is Ariana Khan, and today I will be having a discussion on whether or not girls who are under the age of 18 should have access to birth control without their parental consent. If you are a young girl who is under the age of 18 and you want access to birth control, you would need parental consent. Now, if your parent disagrees and doesn't think that you are ready or just doesn't want you on birth control, you don't get a final say. Your parent does. Now, if young girls had access to birth control without that parental consent, things would be a lot more manageable for them. They would have some type of control of their own bodies. As a young girl, I started my period very early on. I automatically just wanted to go on birth control. I wanted to start regulating my periods. I wanted to get on it. But my mom disagreed. She didn't think I was ready, and ultimately, she had the final say. Not being able to make the final decision on whether or not I was going to take birth control felt unfair. Just because I wasn't of age meant I had no control of my body. Young girls have so many rules, regulations, and expectations to follow, and it's left them with little to no control of their own body. Birth control should be accessible for them regardless of their age, and they should get the final decision. In today's topic, we will first discuss what birth control is and how effective it is. Then we will talk about how periods aren't a choice and women are left figuring out their bodies. And finally, we will discuss how women should have the right to their own bodies regardless of their age. Before going into discussing about the effectiveness of birth control, we do have to talk about what it is and how it works. Birth control regulates and manages periods by releasing the correct amount of the right hormones into your bloodstream. There are four main known birth controls. We have the IUD, we have the depot shot, the pills, and then there's also the implant. Birth control helps regulate your periods and it also helps manage your symptoms. According to Penn State University Medicine, a journal that they wrote in 2020, between 9 and 14% of women have a regular period. Being consistent with your birth control also means that it helps reduce and or stops ovulation, and that prevents pregnancy, and we will further discuss this later on. Overall, birth control has a 99% rate of effectiveness. Going on to my next point, periods aren't a choice, but taking birth control should be for women, regardless of their age. In fact, I think if every girl had the choice of choosing to not have a period, we would all come to agreement that period should be terminated forever. An article in 2018 that was published by Business Wire reported that nearly 1 in 5 American girls have missed school due to their periods. Jumping over to my last point of young girls being entitled to their own bodies, I did a little bit of research and I read up on a paper from Center for Reproductive Rights that was established in 2021, and it says that young girls who seek birth control are normally sexually active and afraid to tell their parents. Birth control is a safe and effective method that would protect young girls from getting pregnant. Ultimately, younger girls have no entitlement to their body and don't get the final say. I think it is very important to give young girls the opportunity to make decisions for themselves and their bodies. To review, we first talked about the effectiveness of birth control and what it was. Then we discussed periods not being a choice. And finally, we went over how young girls should be entitled to their own bodies. Girls under the age of 18 should have access to birth control without parental consent, no matter their age. And before closing this speech, I just wanted to say that no matter your age or others' thoughts, you should always get the final say.